finally went too far, and for a few hours that rumor spread like wildfire. The claim was simple but explosive. ESPN fired Shaq for disrespecting LeBron James on live TV. That one sentence was all it took. NBA fans were clicking, arguing, and picking sides before anybody even stopped to check if it was actually true. Because when you put Shaq, LeBron, ESPN, live television, and the word fired in the same headline, the basketball world reacts first and asks questions later. But that's exactly where this whole thing falls apart. As of right now, there is zero credible confirmation that ESPN fired Shaq over anything he said about LeBron. In fact, everything reliable points the other way. Shaq's future with Inside the NBA has been tied to a long-term TNT deal, and the show's move to ESPN and ABC was reported as keeping the main cast together. So the real story isn't that Shaq got fired. The real story is why so many people believed it instantly, and why any criticism of LeBron from someone like Shaq turns into a national firestorm. That tells you everything about where the LeBron conversation stands in 2026. LeBron James isn't just a basketball player anymore. He's a walking debate. Every quote about him becomes a headline. Every former teammate's opinion becomes a segment. Every ex-player who questions him gets labeled a hater. Every person who defends him gets called a fanboy. And when Shaq speaks, people actually listen, because Shaq isn't just some media personality. He's one of the most dominant players in NBA history, a Lakers legend, and someone whose name is already woven into the all-time greatness conversation alongside LeBron's.
LeBron is about to do something that hasn't been done in a long time, and I think he will move his name up there. But for me, it's always Dr. J and Michael Jordan, Magic and those.
That's why the rumor hit so hard. Shaq criticizing LeBron isn't the same as a random analyst taking shots. Shaq has rings, he has finals MVPs, he has his own undeniable place in basketball history. He also played alongside LeBron in Cleveland near the end of his career, so fans always feel like there's extra weight behind whatever he says. When Shaq questions LeBron, people treat it like one legend checking another, and when Shaq goes sharp, people start wondering if he crossed the line. The timing made the rumor even easier to swallow because LeBron recently put himself right back at the center of the GOAT debate with full confidence. He basically said he's not taking anyone over himself, while still acknowledging other legends would probably say the same thing about their own cases. That's not shocking if you understand how greatness works. Michael Jordan would have picked himself. Kobe Bryant would have picked himself. Shaq has never lacked confidence either. But because it's LeBron, the reaction is 10 times bigger. Some people call it confidence, others call it arrogance, and then the whole debate starts all over again. Shaq has always had a complicated spot in that conversation. He respects LeBron, but he also carries real pride as a player from a different era. Shaq was the most physically dominant force of his prime. He changed how teams built their front courts. He forced rule changes, defensive schemes, and entire rosters to be constructed around stopping him. So when he hears LeBron claim the top spot, he's not going to sit back like a passive commentator. He's going to respond like a legend who believes his own era, his own accomplishments, and his own teammates deserve just as much respect.
Sink that shot.
He's the only man that had me terrified on the court. Because I went from high school admiring him, college admiring him, and then he's right there in front of you. And all the shit you see on your poster, like he's doing it in real life. Like he came by me so fast one time, I was like, oh shit. Mike, yeah, I was terrified. But once
That's where fans often get it twisted. When Shaq pushes back on LeBron, it doesn't automatically mean he hates him. It doesn't mean he's jealous. It doesn't mean he's trying to tear down the man's career. Sometimes it just means he's defending his own standard of greatness. But in today's NBA media world, nuance doesn't travel as fast as outrage. A clip gets cut, a sentence gets stripped of context, a thumbnail says Shaq destroyed LeBron, a headline says ESPN fired Shaq, and suddenly everyone's reacting to a version of the story that may not even be real. Here's the part nobody's really talking about. The fake firing rumor reveals just how powerful LeBron's name has become in sports media. People believed Shaq could lose his job for criticizing LeBron because they already believe LeBron carries that kind of pull over the basketball conversation. Whether that's fair or not, that perception is very real. Fans think LeBron is protected. They think networks walk on eggshells around him. They think certain analysts are afraid to criticize him. So when a rumor says Shaq went too far and ESPN had enough, it fits the story people already wanted to believe. But the facts matter here. Shaq wasn't some random ESPN hire pulled off the street. He's part of the Inside the NBA machine, one of the most important studio shows in basketball history. The move to ESPN and ABC was reported as a licensing deal that kept the core cast in place. Shaq was also reported to be staying with TNT Sports on a major long-term deal. That doesn't sound like a man getting shown the door overnight for saying something spicy about LeBron. That sounds like a viral headline turning normal debate into manufactured drama.
I'm gonna say one thing to you, and Max, I don't know the numbers like you do. Michael Jordan is what in the finals? 6 and what?
Oh.
And what is LeBron in the finals? That's all I gotta say.
Shaq, how many game sevens did MJ go to? Zero.
Zero.
Hey,
I'm just saying.
How many times did MJ see the Warriors, though?
Still, the reason the headline works is because Shaq and LeBron are two massive personalities with overlapping legacies. Both are Lakers champions. Both are physically overwhelming players who changed the game. Both became global brands far beyond basketball. Both believe they belong in the all-time conversation. And both have fan bases that don't take kindly to seeing their guy challenged. So even if the firing story is fiction, the tension underneath it is very real. LeBron supporters see the constant criticism as exhausting. They look at the numbers, the longevity, the championships, the all-time scoring record, and the fact that he's still playing at a high level after more than 2 decades, and they want to know what else the man has to prove. To them, every former player who takes a shot sounds like someone who can't accept that LeBron has outlasted every standard placed in front of him. They hear Shaq criticize LeBron and think, here we go again, another legend trying to protect his era. Shaq supporters hear it completely differently. They think modern fans act like LeBron's resume erases everyone who came before him. They think Shaq, Kobe, Jordan, Duncan, Magic, Kareem, Wilt, all of them deserve to be discussed with the same seriousness. They feel like LeBron's media presence can tilt the whole conversation. So when Shaq pushes back, they see it as balance. They see it as a legend reminding people that greatness didn't start with LeBron James. That's why this story keeps escalating. The firing rumor isn't really about employment. It's about power. Does LeBron have too much influence over the NBA media world? Are networks too careful around him? Are former players unfairly going at him for clicks? Is Shaq being honest or crossing a line? Those are the real questions fans are fighting over, even if the original claim is shaky. Here's where it gets dangerous. When the internet wants a story to be true, the truth becomes secondary. People don't wait for confirmation anymore. They see a dramatic headline, pick a side, and start swinging. One side says ESPN is protecting LeBron. The other says Shaq is chasing clout. Another says LeBron can't handle criticism. Another says Shaq is bitter. Meanwhile, the original claim still hasn't been proven. That's exactly why basketball media has gotten so intense. A normal disagreement becomes a feud. A hard critique becomes disrespect. A viral rumor becomes breaking news. And once the story spreads, correcting it is nearly impossible, because the correction is never as exciting as the accusation. LeBron's resume cannot be erased. 4 championships, 4 MVPs, the all-time scoring record, historic longevity, and unmatched pressure from the time he was a teenager. Shaq's resume cannot be erased either. 4 championships, 3 straight finals MVPs, 1 regular season MVP, and a peak that genuinely terrified the entire league. Both men earned the right to speak loudly about greatness. Both have a place in that conversation. The debate is real. The firing isn't. So what's the actual takeaway? ESPN has not been credibly reported to have fired Shaq for disrespecting LeBron. Treat the claim as a rumor, not a fact. But the reason it spread so fast is because the NBA audience is already primed to believe that every LeBron debate could blow up into something bigger. Shaq's words carry weight. LeBron's name carries weight. ESPN's platform carries weight. Put all three together, and even a normal disagreement becomes a media experience.